Well, hello everybody. Today, we're going to be working on this board. Came in for repair today. It's actually an Xbox One S board. They're saying they're having some problems with the video, and they're thinking it's an HDMI port repair. And I'm thinking, let's take a look. Let's take a look to find out. I can't really see it on this camera. Let's head to the microscope camera. Let's go to Ant-Man mode and check out all the HDMI ports. That HDMI port looks good. Whoa! Holy moly. Wow. Yeah, that's gonna need a replacement. Alright, luckily, we have an extra one on hand. And we're going to be able to take that puppy out and give the nougat dog a bone. Alright. So, first things first, we got to take that HDMI port out and then put in a new one. Okay. So what I like to do is I like to put some... I'm just going to put a little tiny bit of flux. Have to mix it with a little bit of the Kester leaded solder so we can take it off easier, because that will actually make it an alloy and lower that heating temperature and make it come off the board that much easier. Let's wait till it beeps. Alright, perfect. Okay. Let's turn our fume extractor on. I don't want to be breathing this. Okay. Alright. So. Okay. Let's get some solder wick on there to remove any excess solder. So what I try to do is I try to get as much solder off of that HDMI port and the board as possible. Okay. Then I like to do the same thing on this side. Put some flux. Never have too much flux. some of that Kester solder. Okay. Just getting myself a new strip of that wick, as we did use some of it, so, you know, I'll take out most of it as possible. Just going to be taking a look at the other side, because I was kind of having a little bit of a hard time seeing it from the angle of where I put the board. Just moving the fume extractor, so I don't want to smell any of this. Okay. Okay. Now I think we're ready for removal. So let me get my tweezers. So this is where I'd use max heat, max air, and biggest nozzle. removing the excess solder. As I said, I want to try to remove as much solder as possible, just so that the new HDMI port can go in there perfectly. All right. Gotta love these nighttime repairs. Come on, baby. Ah, nice. Okay, let's clean that up. With some 99% IPA. All right. Let's get this on the board. All right. See, because it doesn't seat on 100%. So I'm going to give it a little tiny bit of heat. Just to sit down right. A little bit more. Okay. Extractor on. Okay. First thing we're going to do is try to get these small pads on there. See, because it's already hot. My flux melted so quickly. I'll flip it around a little bit so I can get that easier. A lot of times I use drag soldering, but since my tip is a bit bigger, I have to get a smaller tip eventually, but just gotta use what I got. So I just barely touch them. Normally, if they weren't so perfectly aligned, I would do the first and last. But since, you know, it's like almost perfectly aligned tonight, I'm just gonna try to make them all nice. From beginning to end. Like the alphabet. A, B, C. Okay, I'm not gonna recite the alphabet like Nicolas Cage. I'm sure you know the movie. Okay. I'm just gonna check those pads. Just make sure everything is on. So you go through them one by one. Make sure that there's no wiggling of any of them. Make sure all of them are nice and strong. Okay. Probably just gonna go through it one more time. Just because I'm kind of a perfectionist, you know. Okay. All right. I'm gonna check them one more time. I'm sure they're pretty good. Let's get those ends. As I mentioned in my other video, just put the heat on where I want it to be directed. My solder can be right here. And then boom. It's on. And this is leaded Kester solder. This is stuff that they use in the military or also aviation. This stuff is strong and actually much better than any kind of commercial electronic out there. So this is actually better than this crappy unleaded solder that they use. And that's backfire guaranteed. So I feel very confident about the job that we do here. Okay. Just gonna check this one more time. I always like to double check, sometimes I've even triple check. Okay. All right, let's clean it up a bit. Yeah, I know it has like a little horn right there. It's not a big deal, since this is just all ground. Anything on here on top is all ground. So the case is going to go on top of this. Nothing will touch that. So I feel fine. If it's not looking like, you know, the other side, actually, I still think this is a much better job by hand soldering than kind of machine. But put this on the PCB board. All right. gonna do a little shout out to my friend Cody. He's also a tech here at Trilex Fix, and he does an amazing job. Definitely, I call him like the locksmith. Can unlock so much stuff. He knows all about this coding to get your data back. So if you try our data recovery services, you would probably have him looking at one of your boards or shall I say hard drives. All right, that's looking nice. Just once more with the alcohol, and then I will dry it up with another tip. Also want to check if there's any continuity. Just make sure that there's no solder that got stuck together, because I don't want to put this thing back in the machine knowing that there's something touching something else, which can short out a line. You definitely don't want anything shorted, because it's like I'm not trying to make myself have a harder time doing this. Give myself another problem. No. Beautiful. Okay. And I will get my Fluke multimeter. Okay, continuity mode on. Okay, perfect. You guys see that? So when the leads touch, we hear something. Hear a beep. And that's not what we want when we're checking for continuity on these lines. We want it to be silent as a silent as a church, I guess. Okay, let's check these out. Okay, good. Good. Oh, that was me. All right, it's good. And that's ground. See, there's no trace going anywhere. That's ground. This one's going to be ground too right here. Perfect. So it's perfect. It's great to go. All right. Okay, so since there was only 3 different types of screws, I just took a picture and I'll put the screws accordingly. Right now, I just want to put enough screws in here just to hold on to the case, as I have already did. So everything's back together, and now we can test it out. See if that Xbox One S is working. So here we go. That's a good sign. And that's how you do it, baby. That's it. Well, thank you all for watching. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Catch you all in the next one. Good night.